The night was alive. A huge silver moon hung in the sky. It felt like a giant pearl watching over the world. I was sitting by an old oak tree, my favorite spot. The air was cool and smelled like damp earth and night-blooming jasmine. Everything was quiet. So quiet, you could hear your own heartbeat. I often came here to think, to feel connected to something bigger than myself. The moonlight made everything look magical, like a scene from a dream. It painted the leaves silver and cast long dancing shadows on the ground. I felt a strange energy in the air tonight, a little buzz like just before a storm. It was exciting and a little scary at the same time. Suddenly the air grew warmer. The soft buzzing I felt turned into a gentle hum. I looked up, and my breath caught in my throat. A creature was coming down from the sky. It was not a bird, it was not a plane, it was a dragon. Her scales shimmered like 1,000 tiny moons, all different shades of silver and deep indigo. She moved with a silent grace, her wings barely making a sound as they cut through the night air. She landed softly in the clearing in front of me, her large, wise eyes glowing with a soft golden light. She was beautiful and powerful, but I didn't feel scared. I felt a strange sense of calm, as if I had been waiting for her my whole life.
Do not be afraid, little one.
The voice echoed in my mind. It was not a sound I heard with my ears, but a feeling, a thought that was not my own. The voice was warm and kind, like a gentle melody.
I am StellaLuna. I have watched over your family's line for centuries. I have come because your time has arrived. The universe has been waiting for you to awaken to your true self. The stars themselves have aligned for this very moment, this very meeting under the watchful eye of the moon.
I could only stare, my heart pounding with a mix of wonder and disbelief. A dragon was talking to me, in my head. She told me that the world was not as it seemed. She spoke of hidden magic, of ancient powers, and of a destiny that was written in the stars for me. She said the moonlight held secrets, and that I was a key to unlocking them. StellaLuna explained that the quiet life I knew was just a prelude, a peaceful beginning before a grand adventure.
You have a great power inside you, a light that has been passed down through generations. Tonight, we begin the journey to unlock that light. The cosmos is calling your name, and you must be ready to answer. Your life is about to change forever.
As StellaLuna finished speaking, the air around us began to shift and shimmer. It was like looking through heated air on a hot summer day, but this was different. It was magical. The moonlight seemed to bend and twist, and then, right before my eyes, shimmering doorways began to open in the air. They looked like windows into space, filled with swirling galaxies and distant twinkling stars. One portal glowed with a soft lunar white, another burned with the bright golden fire of a distant sun. A third swirled with the deep greens and blues of a far-off nebula. It was the most incredible and terrifying thing I had ever seen. I felt a pull towards them, a sense of familiarity, as if a part of my soul recognized these cosmic views.
These are echoes of your past. They are portals to the source of your spiritual lineage. Your blood is not ordinary. It is a river of magic, flowing from ancient and powerful sources.
I watched, mesmerized, as images flickered within the portals. I saw tall, graceful women in flowing white robes, chanting to the moon on the shores of a beautiful lost island. I saw powerful priestesses in a golden temple, their hands glowing with healing light. I saw scholars surrounded by glowing green tablets, their minds filled with the universe's greatest secrets. I felt a connection to these images, a deep ache of belonging that I couldn't explain. This was all so much to take in. Me, a descendant of magical people? It sounded like a story from one of my books. I had always felt a little different, a little out of place, but I never imagined something like this. The portals swirled faster, the colors grew brighter, and I felt a surge of energy flow through me. It was like a switch had been flipped on inside my soul. I could feel the power of the moon, the warmth of the sun, and the wisdom of the stars coursing through my veins. It was an overwhelming sensation, a mix of pure joy and profound responsibility. The quiet girl under the oak tree was gone. In her place was someone new, someone connected to the cosmos itself.
Your ancestors are calling to you. They are welcoming you. This is your birthright, the legacy you were born to inherit.
The portals began to fade slowly, leaving behind the quiet moonlit clearing. But the energy remained. It was now a part of me. The air was no longer just air, it was filled with unseen possibilities. The night was no longer just dark, it was filled with ancient magic. My journey had truly begun, and I knew, with a certainty that shook me to my core, that nothing would ever be the same again. My old life was over. A new, magical one was just starting. Just as the last cosmic portal faded, another figure appeared in the clearing. He seemed to step out of the shadows of the ancient oak tree, as if he had been there all along. He was tall and wore deep blue robes embroidered with constellations that seemed to shift and twinkle. His face was kind, with eyes that held the wisdom of ages. He introduced himself as Enki, a keeper of ancient knowledge and a friend to my family's line. He held a set of ancient scrolls, tied with golden cords. The paper was so old it looked like it might turn to dust if you touched it. He smiled gently at me, his presence as calming as a quiet library.
You are a descendant of the Moon Priestesses of Atlantis. These women were powerful mystics who could control the tides and draw down the moon's energy to perform incredible feats of healing and prophecy. They were the guardians of the emotional and spiritual balance of their great civilization.
I saw visions of them in my mind, their silhouettes outlined by the ocean under a full moon, their voices joined in a beautiful, powerful chant. I felt their strength, their grace, and their deep connection to the lunar cycles.
You are also an heir to the spiritual sisterhood of Isis, the ancient Egyptian goddess of magic and life. These women were master healers, alchemists, and protectors of the innocent. They carried the light of the divine feminine and could weave spells of protection and renewal. Their temples were sanctuaries of peace and learning, and their power was rooted in compassion and unconditional love.
I felt their warmth spread through my chest, a feeling of deep, nurturing love for all living things. It was a powerful feeling, like the sun warming your skin.
This is your third lineage. You are a guardian of the wisdom of the Emerald Tablets. This ancient text was said to hold the secrets of the universe, the keys to alchemy and cosmic understanding. Your ancestors were not just mystics or healers. They were scholars and philosophers who protected this sacred knowledge from those who would use it for selfish gain. They valued wisdom above all else.
As Enki spoke, he pointed to a symbol on the scroll, a serpent eating its own tail, encircling a beautiful green gem.
There is an artifact, a pendant. It is your birthright, and it is hidden waiting for you.
Following Enki's guidance and StellaLuna's silent flight above, I began a journey that felt both new and strangely familiar. He told me the pendant was hidden in my ancestral home, a place I had only heard about in stories from my grandmother. It was an old stone cottage on a remote stretch of coastline, a place my family had left generations ago. As we traveled, the world seemed different. I noticed the patterns in the wind, the energy of the trees, and the hum of the earth beneath my feet. It was as if my senses had been turned up to full volume, allowing me to perceive the magic that was all around me, hidden in plain sight. The cottage was exactly as my grandmother had described it. It was made of dark, weathered stone covered in ivy, and it stood on a cliff overlooking the roaring sea. The air tasted of salt and ancient memories. Inside, everything was covered in a thick layer of dust, but it felt like a sacred place, a time capsule waiting to be opened. Moonlight streamed through a grimy window, illuminating a single large wooden chest in the center of the main room. It was made of dark, rich wood and bound with iron straps. Carved into the lid was the same symbol from Enki's scroll, the serpent encircling a gem. My heart pounded in my chest. I knew I had found it. With trembling hands, I lifted the heavy lid of the chest. A scent of dried herbs, old parchment, and something else, something electric and powerful, wafted out. Inside, nestled on a bed of faded velvet, were heirlooms from my ancestors. There was a moon-shaped silver comb that seemed to hum with a gentle energy, a collection of dried flowers that still held a faint, sweet scent, and a set of beautiful crystal vials. There were also books with leather covers and yellowed pages, filled with handwriting I somehow recognized. Each object felt alive, buzzing with the magic and memories of the women who had come before me. I felt their presence in the room, a silent circle of support. Beneath all these treasures, wrapped in a simple cloth, was a small, ornate wooden box. My fingers shook as I opened it. Inside, lying on a bed of silk, was the emerald pendant. It was even more beautiful than I had imagined. A brilliant green gem, cut in a teardrop shape, was set in a delicate silver frame that looked like intertwined branches. It pulsed with a soft green light, and I could feel its power calling to me, a warm and protective energy that felt like coming home. As I reached out to touch it, a wave of visions and emotions washed over me, showing me glimpses of its power and the destiny it held. The dusty cottage no longer felt empty. It felt like the beginning of a family reunion. Your awakening was the signal. Now that you have found the pendant and learned the truth, the magic that had kept you hidden from each other will begin to fade. She will be feeling it too. She will feel your awakening, just as you have always felt a piece of her. The pendant will guide you to her. Your reunion is the first step. Together, you are the Luminari, a force of light destined to stand against the coming shadow. Your journey is no longer just your own. It is a shared path, a shared destiny. My mind raced, trying to process this incredible news. A sister! All my life I had felt a strange sense of incompleteness, a feeling that a part of me was missing. I used to talk to an imaginary friend who I felt understood me perfectly. Now I knew why. That connection was real. It was the unbreakable bond of a twin. Alara was out there somewhere, living a life without me, just as I had lived without her. I felt a mix of emotions, joy at the thought of not being alone, anger that we had been kept apart, and a deep, overwhelming need to find her. I had a family I never knew existed. You and your sister were separated at birth. It was a painful choice made by your parents to protect you both. A dark prophecy had foretold that twin daughters born of your lineage would hold the power to restore balance to the world, but that this power would also make you a target for those who thrive in chaos and darkness. You were hidden from each other, and from the world, for your own safety. The pendant shows you the truth. You were not born alone. You have a twin. Her name is Alara. As my fingers brushed against the cool surface of the emerald pendant, the air in the cottage grew thick with energy. The gem began to glow brighter, its green light filling the dusty room and casting dancing shadows on the walls. The visions that flooded my mind were not just of the past, but of the future. I saw two figures, two young women standing side by side, their hands joined. They were bathed in a brilliant light, a mix of silver moonlight and emerald green. One of the figures was me. The other, she looked exactly like me. It was like looking into a magical mirror. I had a sister, a twin sister. The shock of it was like a lightning bolt to my soul. Guided by the gentle, insistent pull of the emerald pendant, I traveled for days. It was like a compass in my soul, pointing me in a direction I knew was right. The journey led me to a bustling, vibrant city, a place so different from my quiet life and the ancient cottage. The pendant's pull grew stronger until it led me to a small, quiet park in the heart of the city. And there she was. Sitting on a bench under a willow tree, sketching in a notebook, was a girl who looked exactly like me. She had my eyes, my hair, my smile. She looked up as I approached, and her eyes widened in shock. It was like seeing my own ghost. We stood there for a long moment, just staring at each other. No words were needed. We both knew. It was a reunion that transcended time and separation. When we finally moved, we didn't shake hands or say hello. We hugged. It was a hug that felt like it had been waiting a lifetime. It was a feeling of coming home, of finally being whole. All the missing pieces of my life clicked into place. We both started crying and laughing at the same time.
My name is Alara. I always felt like a part of me was missing too. I had dreams of a girl who looked just like me, living in the countryside, and I always felt this strange connection to the moon.
I told her everything. About StellaLuna, about Enki, about our magical bloodlines and our shared destiny. I showed her the pendant, which glowed warmly between us.
For anyone else, it might have sounded like a crazy fairy tale, but Alara listened with a look of perfect understanding.
Lately, I've been having these really strange dreams. Dreams of ancient temples and swirling galaxies. And you know, when I'm happy, flowers seem to bloom a little brighter around me. And when I'm sad, the sky almost seems to weep with me. I always knew I was different, but I didn't know why. Now it all makes sense.
We were separated to keep us safe. Our parents knew that a powerful sorcerer, a man who fed on fear and discord, would hunt us down if he knew of our existence. By raising us in different environments, one in the quiet, nature-filled countryside, and the other in the bustling, energetic city, our parents had hoped to keep our combined magical signature hidden. They had made a heartbreaking sacrifice to give us a chance at life. Now, our awakening had made us visible. The time for hiding was over. The time for us to become the Luminari, the bearers of light, had come. We were together now, and we were ready for whatever came next.
With both of us together, the emerald pendant seemed to come fully alive. It was no longer just a warm, glowing gem, it was a beacon of immense power. When we held it together, its light intensified, pulsing in time with our heartbeats. StellaLuna, as narrator. The pendant is not just an heirloom, it is a key. It was designed to channel and amplify your innate abilities, the dormant powers from your 3 ancient lineages. It is a tool of healing and protection, forged in the heart of Atlantis with magic from the stars themselves. It can only be fully activated by the touch of both twins.
As you focus your energy on the pendant, you will feel your powers awaken. Trust in your connection and let the wisdom of your ancestors guide you.
I felt the cool, calm power of the Moon Priestesses surge within me. I could feel the pull of the tides, the energy of the lunar cycle, and a deep, intuitive wisdom. I could soothe a troubled mind with a gentle touch and see glimpses of possible futures in pools of water.
And I could feel the vibrant, life-giving energy of the Sisterhood of Isis. My touch could encourage plants to grow, and I could heal cuts and bruises with this warm golden light that flowed from my hands.
We were 2 halves of a whole, our powers perfectly complementing each other. The pendant also granted us incredible powers of protection. When we were together, it could create a shimmering shield of emerald light around us, nearly impenetrable, deflecting negative energy and physical attacks. It was a sanctuary we could create anywhere, a fortress built from our combined love and shared heritage.
We spent weeks learning to control these new abilities, practicing in secluded forests and hidden coves.
StellaLuna guided our magical training, while Enki taught us the ancient wisdom from the emerald tablets, helping us understand the cosmic laws that governed our powers. We learned to trust ourselves and, most importantly, to trust each other completely. Our bond was the true source of our strength. The more we worked together, the stronger our magic became. We learned to communicate without words, sharing thoughts and feelings through our twin connection. We could anticipate each other's moves and combine our powers in ways that were breathtakingly beautiful and incredibly powerful. We could weave lunar energy with solar healing light, creating spells of immense power and grace. The emerald pendant was the focus point, but our love and unity as sisters were the fuel. We were no longer just 2 girls, we were the Luminari, and we were ready to face the darkness.
I bring grave news. The sorcerer your parents feared is named Malachor, the Shadow Weaver. He is an ancient being who has lost his connection to love and now feeds on the negative emotions of humanity, fear, anger, and despair. His ultimate goal is to plunge the world into a state of permanent misery, a world where he would be all-powerful. He has been growing in strength for decades, subtly influencing world events, spreading discord and conflict from the shadows. Now, he is ready to make his final move.
Malachor was planning a global event he called Liberatio, a day when he would unleash a powerful wave of dark magic upon the entire planet. This dark wave would amplify every negative feeling, turning cities into places of chaos and people against each other. It was a terrifying plan, designed to break the spirit of humanity completely.
The date is set for the upcoming solar eclipse, a time of immense celestial power that Malachor intends to corrupt for his own purposes. You only have a few days to stop him. The fate of the world rests on your shoulders.
The pressure was immense, but looking at Alara, I felt a surge of determination. We would not let fear win. We are the daughters of moonlight and sunlight, and we will not let the shadows consume the world.
Working with StellaLuna and Enki, we created a plan, Operation Lunar Shield. It was a 3-day strategy to counter Malachor's dark ritual. Day 1 would be dedicated to building our power. We would travel to sacred sites connected to our lineages, a moonlit stone circle, and an ancient sun temple, to absorb as much raw energy as possible. We needed to be at our absolute peak to face him. Day 2 would be for infiltration. Using a spell of concealment taught to us by Enki, we would travel to Malachor's fortress, a dark citadel built in a desolate, volcanic wasteland. We had to get to the heart of his ritual chamber before the eclipse began. Day 3 was the day of the battle. We would confront Malachor during the eclipse at the moment of his greatest power. It was an incredibly risky plan, but it was our only chance.
Malachor's power is immense, and he will use your deepest fears against you. But remember, you possess a secret weapon, a power greater than any dark magic. It is an ancient spell known as the Eternal Lovebind, a spell that does not destroy but transforms. It can only be cast by 2 souls bound by unconditional love like yours. Your mission is not to kill the sorcerer, but to heal the broken soul within him.
On the day of the eclipse, we stood in the heart of Malakor's dark fortress. The air was cold and heavy with despair. Malakor was there, a tall figure cloaked in shadows, his face twisted by centuries of bitterness.
So, you have come at last. You think your light can reach me? You are nothing but children playing with forces you cannot understand.
He laughed, a sound like grinding stone. He threw illusions at us, showing us our deepest fears, losing each other, failing our ancestors, watching the world burn. But we held on to each other, our hands clasped tight. The emerald pendant on my chest pulsed with a steady, reassuring light.
Remember what Enki said. His power comes from fear, but ours comes from love. We can't let him break us.
As the moon began to cover the sun, Malakor started his ritual. A wave of dark energy began to spread from the citadel. We could feel the fear and anger rising across the globe. It was now or never.
We closed our eyes and focused not on fighting him, but on the pure, unconditional love we felt for each other. We poured all of our love, all of our hope for humanity into the emerald pendant. We began to chant the words of the eternal love bind. It wasn't a spell of attack, but a song of healing. A brilliant light, a mix of silver moonlight and golden sunlight, erupted from us, pushing back the darkness.
No, what are you doing? Stop, this cannot be.
The light of our spell surrounded him, not burning him, but embracing him. It showed him what he had lost, the love he had forgotten. We saw visions of his past. He was once a healer, a man who had lost his family to a terrible plague and had become twisted by his grief and rage. The eternal love bind didn't destroy his power, it cleansed it. The shadows around him dissolved, revealing a man with tears streaming down his face. The dark energy of his ritual shattered, replaced by a wave of pure, healing light that washed over the entire planet. The fear and anger receded, replaced by a sense of peace and connection.
I am free. After all these years, I remember who I was. I vow to spend the rest of my days undoing the harm I have caused, using my magic to mend the world.
With the darkness defeated, Alara and I, the Luminari, began our true work. We traveled the world, teaching others about the magic of connection and compassion. We launched a new era of hope, an age where humanity remembered that the greatest power in the universe is, and always has been, love. Our journey had been one of destiny, but it ended with a choice to build a better world together.